What's up, Ryan?
What's up?
So we are broadcasting, but I show 0 viewers right now. And on the hour, I'm gonna go and act like even if there is none, I'm gonna go act like there is and go through my stuff, dude. Seriously? Seriously? Seriously?
Yeah, I know. It's interesting, Clay. It was July 1st, a year ago, that I presented to the Spartan people. Remember that? And here it is a year later, and all of a sudden, this opportunity just falls out of the sky. And it was yesterday that you told me the universe wants me to achieve my goals. And all of a sudden, bam, yep.
It's like there's the way that Esther or whatever talks about it is like, whoops, sorry, is like as soon as you say I want, hang on a sec, just realize you turn this on. As soon as you say, God, man, got a lot of stuff not lined up right in the cloud. Anyway, as soon as you say I want something, it's like it's there. You remember that the freaking Maseratis and Lamborghinis we were looking at in San Jose?
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah. That money wants to find somebody. It's going to find somebody. Might as well be you.
Amen. Amen. I was gonna go and start spreading a link to this thing all over the place, but wait a second. I just saw something. I need to close this. Screw it. I need to focus on what I'm doing. All right, let me get everything lined up. Let me make sure this is working real quick. Ryan, it's like I'm kind of like trying to relax. It's working. It's sweet. I'm trying to relax and just kind of let everything happen. And I'm stressing because like I feel like I'm leaving a lot of stuff up in the air, but it's all falling into place. So it's like magic.
One of my alarms on my phone is believe, trust, let go.
So I can't wait. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, that was me that did that. Okay. Quit like, we don't have time. How long have you been planning this move? How long have you been reaching out to them?
I didn't know what it would lead to. I reached out to them once, like a week ago, and they responded back, no, we're not going to license you our photos but maybe you could send us something. So I paid, I've got an artist I work, I paid him $10 up an image of what they had in mind, and they went bananas over it. And all of a sudden, I think I'm now in a partnership with them. So it just kind of, in fact, I sent it this morning, and he's like, okay, man, amazing. When can you get on the phone? I was like, well, okay, we can talk today. So it's just all come out of nowhere. Literally.
Dude, I'm so excited. All right, I'm seeing people showing up. Let me, guys, everybody that's just arriving here, I'm sorry. My name's Clay Green, and welcome to this webinar, this online training about your brain and how it works and all that good stuff. We're going to get started in about 4 or 5 more minutes. I like to wait till a couple minutes after the hour to get kind of actually really all going and everything. Reset everything. And we've got a surprise guest today. So I'm looking forward to maybe hearing his perspective on a few of these things. Ryan is somebody I've been working with for about a year now, a little over a year. Heck, I don't know how long.
Yeah, more like 2.
It's, guys, like, no lie. If you look at the headline of the landing page, the headline of the landing page where you probably signed up to come in here today, it's learn why you're avoiding success. Live training reveals exactly how your subconscious is literally stopping you. I'm just gonna flash over to Ryan. Would you just do that a little bit? Yeah. like what do you think, Ryan? Yeah,
man.
All right. Real quick for everybody that's popping on now, I want to point out down below there's a couple links going on. One thing that we probably won't even get to talking about today because we got Ryan, a surprise guest. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to reveal everything that I promised you I'd reveal. But one of those links down there is for a class. That class is called Belief Circles and Targets. You can see down there, it's probably already clicked it. It's $74. We'll talk about that maybe. I'm not even promising we'll talk about that. I like to try to get that out of the way early, but we'll talk about it maybe. On the other hand, the other links down there, there's a question and answer button. And that button, if you would, live Q&A button, ask questions here. I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and make sure it works. Like, double check me, make sure all my little links and everything work, and make sure I'm broadcasting, and say hi. Click on that and go ahead and say hi. Tell me what your name is. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you're working on. Maybe what the big thing stopping you is, like what distracts you, what's the bad, evil bastard that distracts you, that kind of stuff. Go ahead and click on that and make sure that works. I'll be watching that through the course of the hour, or I will try to. I'll check in on a couple times, and that's where the questions will get answered. All right. But the meat of this, and I'm going to be frank with you, the reason I'm doing this, and I'm doing it a lot lately, is because I'm recording it. I'm recording these, and I want to get a better and better and better presentation, and hopefully be able to take what's going on inside your brain and like deliver it in a quick, easy, concise way to get you to do these 3 magic habits, these 3 things that, and there's a 4th little secret bullet, but those things that will completely change your game. That's the goal. All right, so we're going to start off in a couple minutes here. Like I said, we're going to start in just a couple more minutes real quick. This is Ryan Jett. He is, I don't even know.
I don't either, man.
Gentleman. Let's just go there. Like, how do you describe what Ryan is? Ryan and I have been friends. Actually, you know what? Let's just hold off, and I'll do an introduction in a second. Ryan, all you guys that are joining now, go ahead and hop on there. Throw me the Q&A link. Throw me your name down the Q&A link. Say hi. Make sure this is all working and everything. All right. And then just a minute or two. Uh-oh. Is that you, Ryan?
Yep, that was me.
That you said, hey? Okay. I'm like, what is that? That's weird. Where did that come from? I've never seen that before in a webinar. Okay, it's because we're not in a webinar. Dude, oh man, congratulations.
Thank you.
What's next? Like, that's my next question. What's next? I mean,
what? Yeah, trust, believe, and let go. Who knows? It'll be amazing. Whatever's next. Onward and upward, man. Who knows?
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm still waiting on the freaking video testimonial from you, by the way.
I know. It's coming.
Means you got to take another vacation and do it there.
There you go. That sounds good.
All right, guys. It's about a minute and a half after 1. I'm going to go ahead and get started. For now, I want to say hey to everybody that's joining us. Let's see. I'm going to run off a couple names and places. Let's see. What's going on, Lisa? I hope you're having fun in Canada. Interesting. And Seth, good to see you, Seth. Happy, oh, you're here local in Portland. That is cool. Brian, what's up, man? I hope you're having a good day. You know what? Yeah, I feel you, man. Facebook is everything. Distractions on Facebook are huge. Yeah, and there's several other people that have popped up about, interesting, Ryan, like there's a couple people here actually talking about Facebook. Facebook is my distraction enemy, which I completely and totally relate to. Sarah, how you doing, Sarah from Texas? Okay, cool. Nice to meet you, Sarah, or see you, or I'm glad you're here today, Sarah. All right, guys, real quick, let's just go ahead and dive into this. My name is Clay Green. I'm the founder of Enthusiastic Clay, and I got a long story of stuff to tell you today, a little bit about my history and all that good stuff, and we'll cover that a little bit because it's like that's, okay, so real quick, I've been an adult trainer for over 25 years, and one of the things that you are going to need in order for you to understand and buy into and apply what I'm going to share with you is you need to have some validation that, you know, that this is where I learned this. This is how I know this. Here's the proof of this. That's going to empower you to go out and apply what you're going to learn today. Now, So that's one thing we're going to cover today. Another thing we're going to cover, I'm going to tell you really quick about belief circles and targets. The course is at the bottom of here. There's a link, and you may or may not be interested, and that's cool because that's one thing. Another thing is, another link down below is an application for a one-on-one situation. I'm a high performance coach. I work with high performing, high achieving business owners, typically executives or engineers in the high-tech industry, in a high-tech job. When they came from that and they started their own business, that's usually when I start working with them, typically. And that's the majority of, I guess, the guys that I work with right now. So my point is, there's an application down there. If you have any question, if you have challenges, let me rephrase that, right, Ryan? When you have challenges applying these habits, that's when you're going to want a one-on-one with me. And you're also going to want more than one-on-one, and we'll talk all about that good stuff too. But anyway, that's the other thing we're going to talk about, or that's the other link down there. So the layout of today, how this is going to flow, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. I'm going to introduce Ryan. Ryan jumped on here last minute, spur of the moment. Like, he literally just got out of another meeting, and I haven't heard all about this other meeting, and I'm really excited to hear about it. And so it's going to be kind of weird. My normal stuff that I go through usually lasts about an hour. So trying to get Ryan in, and I want his opinion. I want his perspective on the same topics that I'm sharing. So that's why I invited him on here. He was messaging me like crazy right before we got on here. Ryan is, I don't like to like actually say this to people. Like, I always tell people one of my favorite clients, Ryan is my favorite client. There's no question about it. He's one of my best friends too, man. It's like we've been working together for a while, and yeah, it's just crazy. All right, so anyway, what we're going to talk about today, real quick, the thing and how your subconscious stops you. This webinar is going to be graphic light. I don't have a whole lot of bullet points, and I don't have a whole lot of pictures. This picture, though, get ready to see that. That picture right there, we're going to talk about how your subconscious, when you have a goal, your subconscious likes to stop you, and how to move that subconscious out of the way and keep going. That's the whole point of today. There's 3 basic habits that you have to implement, period. It's not a question. It's not a debate. It's not should you. The question is, how do you? And Ryan and I are going to talk about, I'm looking forward to Ryan's input there a lot. And then the secret element, the secret magic little bullet that will literally do this. And Ryan's got experience with it too, and I'm freaking excited that he's here. All right, Ryan, real quick, why don't you tell these guys a little bit about your background and who you are and what happened and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a sales rep for a book company. Let's see. I'm hearing a little feedback. You hear that?
I do not hear the feedback, and okay. I can plug in a headphone.
I'll take my earphones out. All right. That's better. Okay, so a little bit about me. For the last 16 years, I've been a sales rep for a book company, working with schools. Definitely I've been trying for years to earn my freedom through other stuff, and I've tried a little bit of everything. There was a funny video going around a while back of a guy who thought he could break through a board. It was like a really heavy plywood, and he could break it with his head, and he couldn't, and everybody laughed at it. My friends thought it was funny, but when I saw it, I just felt sad because I identified with that dude. A year ago, less than a year ago, I was 50 grand in debt, 3 kids, trying everything, and but 2 years ago, I started self-publishing on Amazon, and this past year, I had a really big year. It finally, crazy good, and it just flipped for me, and it's changed everything. And so yeah, working with Clay for the last couple of years has been a big benefit. And so that's most of my income now comes from Amazon self-publishing. Cookbooks, I've got children's books, getting into romance and all that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of niches on there. It's a lot of fun. So that's mostly what I do these days. Haven't quit the day job yet, but that's coming soon.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, there is. Let's throw on some headphones. I think that'll fix it all the way around.
Let's make sure that you can hear me and everything. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Awesome. Cool. All right, guys. So, actually, I want to flip this around. There we go. All right, let's try this again. So, yeah, this is weird. I haven't done a webinar with a guest. I haven't done this webinar with a guest in a while. All right. So, for me, my background, I'm going to tell you a little bit more detail about than Ryan did about my background. I'll introduce it because what I've learned and what I've grown to know and the experience that I have is what's going to justify you actually buying into and taking this advice and trying it, which is what Ryan has basically done. So it's not an overnight process, obviously, because like Ryan said, he's been working at this for several years. Well, like Ryan, I too have spent most of my adult life trying to build something else. I graduated high school from Alabama, so a general public education system in Alabama, and then I went into the U.S. Navy. In the U.S. Navy, I became a nuclear reactor operator. I feel really weird saying this. I feel like I'm talking to you, Ryan, and you know all this, and it's it's really weird.
Cool. So I'm not here again. Lay it on me.
So I became a nuclear reactor operator. So I'm going to focus on my boys. I'm going to focus on my guys out there watching this. All right. I became a nuclear reactor operator. Not only did I make it through that school, over half the people that join that school, somewhere around 60% of the people that come into that school don't make it through. It's that tough academically. It's like the Navy. It's literally like the Navy SEALs, except you're in a classroom like 18 hours a day instead of like doing push-ups. It's crazy. And there's a valid reason for it. It's a tough, tough job. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes, talk a little bit more about that. So I get through the school. Not only did I make it through the school, but when I got done with the school, that's when like my life kind of, one of the first big things that I'm really proud of and that really changed my life. I did well enough in that school that I qualified to be selected. And then I was selected as what's called a staff pickup. And what was valuable and what blew me away about that was it was several things. One, it prevented me from going to sea, so I didn't have to go straight to a submarine. The other thing that happened was that it gave me 2.5, almost 3 years onshore duty doing training other nuclear reactor operators how to operate a nuclear reactor. Now, not just operate a nuclear reactor, but operate a nuclear reactor, operate all this equipment. Excuse me. Operate all this equipment, operate all this. I mean, we're not talking about like something as simple as your light switch, right? It ain't like that. It's some seriously complex, seriously like deep stuff. And I had to learn literally subatomic physics, chemistry, all this stuff to this little itty bitty detail in order to operate it. And then in order to be able to teach it, I had to learn it better. What I was really teaching these people how to do, these men, it was all men at the time. Now I guess there's women in the program. But at the time, and I didn't know this at the time. Looking back, you can see the dots, right? That's the whole thing. At the time, I didn't know it. Now I realize I was teaching these guys how to sit here and stay focused and work and do their job on this piece of this piece of property. They've got to worry about this thing. We called it a pig, the reactor. So you had to focus on that, even though you could be 1,000 feet underwater, a torpedo is chasing you, all kinds of hell's breaking loose everywhere. There's a fire burning next to you. So everything in your body naturally wants to freaking run. But you got to focus, and not only focus, you got to operate. You got to operate at a high level. It was, I looking back now, it completely blows me away what they asked us to do and what I was doing. But that's just a part of it. The next part is I got into like semiconductor manufacturing. I got into training companies and people that worked for companies like and at Intel. So inside your computer right now, there's probably a chip that was made by Intel somewhere. And that chip, I can tell you exactly how it was made to like the nitty gritty detail. But I used to teach people how to do that, how to work, how to use big machines in order to actually make those chips. Again, a high stress environment. They are the world's greatest manufacturer. Their yields are insane. So if they start with 100 pieces that should come out the other end, if it was perfect, and they get out more than 99, that's pretty freaking good on average, right? Or more than 99 on average or whatever. Their meticulousness creates a very high stress environment. So once again, I'm teaching people how to literally sit there and operate and troubleshoot and maintain these incredibly complex pieces of equipment under this high stress environment, where if they screw up, they could lose their job. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I tell you there was poisonous gas and high voltage involved? I'm talking like 750,000 volts high voltage. And when we say poisonous gas, if you smell it, it's too late. You're going to die. Like that poisonous. It's insane. Like the environment that I worked in, it blows me away. And then the bike, Brian, you know the whole bike story. So
This is good.
the bike. So in the middle of all that, I fell in love with riding motorcycles. I was an adult, learned how to ride motorcycles. And when I was, it took me about 2.5 years to learn how to ride a motorcycle. What I mean by that is I realize now, again, looking back, and this kind of happened after I figured it out on that motorcycle. I realized that they're not teaching some very, very important stuff, this key fundamental stuff. Basically, on a motorcycle, if you have one reaction, you could die. Now, there's a whole lot of qualifying statements that I could spin and put around that, but I don't want to go into the detail right now because most of you guys aren't bike riders. But the bottom line is, as an adult learning how to ride a motorcycle, one reaction can cause you to crash and kill you. So I realized that, and then I started teaching new adult motorcycle riders how to ride without dying. And I had a whole lot of fun doing that for about 10, 15 years. And then it happened. I was cruising down the road one day about 85 miles an hour. Yes, I went through that really quick on purpose because I want to be able to deny that I was going that fast. But anyway, I was zipping along and a deer came out and smacked into me. My only warning was literally like, all I saw, I'm riding and I'm looking where I want to go, which, by the way, we'll talk about that in belief circles and targets. I'm looking at where I want to go, and all of a sudden I saw a deer eye. It was that big right there, just boom. It was going completely perpendicular to me. I was going this way. It was coming completely perpendicular. Now, I'm not going to spend the time to go into all the gory details. That incident, so I'm sorry. I didn't even tell you. I'm sorry. Not only am I still here with all my fingers and toes, I didn't even crash. Yeah, that's the part that's like, damn. It's like, wait a second. A deer hit you when you were going that fast and you didn't crash. It's not because I'm a really good motorcycle rider. It's not because I was lucky. Oh, less than a week after that, Ryan, you've read the book, right? Mm-hmm. The Rise. Oh, less than a week after that, I found the book, The Rise of Superman. And that's what changed. That's what really, really, really changed my life. Like all this other stuff for freaking 45 years of adult, or 30 years, 20 years of adult life, 25 years of adult life, basically led me up to this point where I realized that how my brain was operating when that deer hit me is what caused me to not crash. And how I was operating right before that deer hit me is what put my brain in that state. It's called the state of flow. That's one of the things that I help people do, is I help people hack into the state of flow every day and then recover and then get back into it the next day. But anyway, so that sent me down the path of a 3-year-long path now, a little more than 3 years actually, where I've been studying the brain and really coming to terms and really understanding what's going on in there. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. I want to share with you guys today how your brain literally interacts with the outside world and why when you go to pick up that phone, or when you go to write that email, or when you go to try to work on your business, or when you go to go to the gym and lose weight, whatever it is, why there's resistance, why your subconscious does this. So we're going to go there in a second. Ryan, I feel weird because like I've been doing this for a few weeks now, a few months now, for quite a while now, kind of on my own. And I got my bra here. I want to throw you in here. Is that you picking up what I'm putting down, Ryan? Like the whole subconscious stopping us and stuff?
Absolutely. I mean, it makes me think of all kinds of stuff. I mean, you equate that to your own story, first of all, and your small wins, your failures. So yeah, I mean, everybody goes through that. Lord knows I have. And so that makes when you have a breakthrough, when you try something else and have a big breakthrough, then it becomes really tangible. And so yeah, I agree with everything you're saying.
All right, cool. So let's just dive right into it then. All right. So that support, all that blabbing, sorry to bore you if it bored you, all that supports and brings us to the point of this. Your subconscious, I was going to short circuit the heck out of it, Ryan, but I'm not going to. I'm going to poke. Let's go through this blink. I call it the blink discussion. I'm going to poke you in the eye. All right. Actually, Ryan, have you and me done this? I think we've done this once, right?
Yeah, it's been ages.
Yeah. All right. Well, heck, I'm going to do it with Ryan.
Yeah.
And,
all right.
and we'll talk about it. All right. So I'm going to poke you in the eye. And when I poke you in the eye, I'm sorry, I'm not going to actually poke you in the eye, but I'm going to move my finger nice and slow. And I want to try to get as close to your eye as I physically can before you blink. So don't blink. Now, I'm not going to hurt you. Okay. So relax with that. But I'm still ultimately, now, so there's some people, Ryan, like I've actually bumped into several now that could let me poke them in the eye because they put contacts in every day. Right. So they're just like, yeah, no problem. But even then, when I touch their eye just enough, they'll blink and they can't stop it. That's a reaction. That's happening regardless of whether or not you want it to happen or not. That's a reaction. Now, we're going to talk about that. My first tenet, guys, by the way, that buy now button down there, my first tenet of my whole existence is think, do not react. So I'm not one of these salesmen that's going to freaking come in here and tell you all about all this magic stuff, get your ambitions way up, and then tell you, buy now. It's just not how I roll, okay? Think, do not react. Why? Because if you react on a motorcycle, you could die. It's really important to me. It's so ingrained to me. All right, so let's go back. I'm going to blink. I'm going to poke you, all right? The way that we're going to do this, the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to freeze time, though, because there's this sliver of time that I want to talk about. And I want to analyze everything that's going on in your brain in that moment. So there's like before now, and after now. All right. So let's just freeze now. We're going to freeze that moment in time. What is actually right then? What's happening right then out here is this: light. Do you know what light is? Are you familiar with the word photon? Photons are the little itty bitty particles, subatomic, smaller than a freaking electron, tiny little particles that are being emitted from your ceiling light, from your laptop screen, from the sun. They're being emitted and they hit things. And when they hit things, they bounce off those things. And based on the surface of those things that they hit, the frequency of that photon, the wavelength that it's traveling is going to change. Now, what does that mean? That means colors. That's all it means, right? So if you look at a spectrum, there's infrared and ultraviolet, and there's invisible. There's the invisible spectrum, which we can't see with our eyes. And then there's the red, green, blue, purple, orange. There's I don't remember the whole thing. If you do, Ryan, you can speak up. I'm sorry. But there's the visible spectrum. So let's go back to our moment in time. Now, right? Right now, what's happening? Take a second. Don't move your eyes. Keep watching the screen, okay? But notice, keep watching the screen, but try to notice everything around the screen. Notice what color is right above the screen and then like off your laptop. And same thing left, same thing right, same thing below, and then expand it. Keep your eyes kind of centered here, but expand it out. And just notice how many different colors are hitting your brain right now. It's a pretty cool little exercise. That's one way that you can actually get into the moment and get into the now, but we'll talk more about that later maybe. All right, so all those different colors, all that stuff, like in this moment in time now, right, freezing this moment, those photons are entering your eye. And right about here, there's this little thing. It's kind of like a camera on a phone, except it's a lot, it's a lot more complex than any camera on any phone. Right about here, right behind your eye on both sides, that's where the focal point is, right? Like Ryan, you remember that whole it flips upside down thing?
Yeah.
So the everything that we see actually kind of flips upside down and gets put on the back of that little photoreceptor. And at that point, it gets converted to an electrical signal. The electrical signal gets sent on a wire. So there's literally a wire that's kind of running from there. And that wire runs down, around, and back outside the brain toward the back of the brain, toward the amygdala. There's two things that matter on that path. How big is it? How fast is it? Okay? So the way I look at it is I see that wire, and then I see all kinds of little connections on it. And all those little connections on this part of the path, all that they're really worried about, how big is it? How fast is it? And then it gets to the switch. Motorcycle days, we call this the oh shit switch. This switch asks three questions. And this is kind of interesting, Ryan. There's been some changes. There's not changes, but I've realized some stuff since the last time we talked about this. One of those questions is this going to kill me? The other two questions are on the good side. Can I eat this? Do I want to have sex with this? All right, so the timeline of this frozen moment is what's important. So let's review it one more time. Now, we freeze time, with my finger coming at your eye. Now, photons, eye, gets converted to an electrical signal. How big is it? How fast is it? You guys remember the flinch game? Like when somebody would throw something at you or a big ball's coming at you or whatever and you duck? Well, that's why how big is it and how fast is it matters. Because right back here, the oh shit switch asks, hey, is this going to kill me? Do I want to eat this? Do I want to have sex with this? So let's just freeze right now. Back to that moment in time. Timeline is important. Like what's going on in sequence. Right now, is anything going to kill you? Are you hungry? Do you want to eat it? And do you want to have sex with it? If the answer to that question is no, nothing happens. The signal just keeps going. And it goes back. Now, I can't even do it now. I can't even do it because I can't stick this through my head. But the signal, so the two signals go down and around. They go through the switch. And then the wire goes up through the middle of the brain. From the back of the amygdala, you got the two hemispheres, right? And it shoots toward the front of the brain. And this is where a whole bunch of electrical connections are. And all those electrical connections, or those data connections, if you would, they figure everything else out. They look at it and they say, okay, we know how big it is and we know how fast it is. It's going really slow. It's not very big. But look at it. What color is it? It's got this little pink here. It's got this little white tip. Then there's this color here. There's the color of your computer. There's this orange. Everything else gets figured out, including where it is in space, what's next to it. These shapes here with the two lines and my thumb hanging down here. Well, first, hang on. It doesn't see the thumb yet. All it sees is shapes, colors, dimensions. Like if I was doing this, it would know it was a little bit long, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of thing that it figures out. Then it hits the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is where like there's a big Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. And the Excel spreadsheet, what it does, in 1 second, guys, sorry. What that Microsoft Excel spreadsheet does is it looks at all this data hitting it, and it says, okay, there's this thing. It's shaped like this. It's this color. It's got this little white thing. It's next to these things. It's got this thing hanging down here that's this shape and this color, this dimension. And it says, oh, that's a finger. And then it says, let me see if I recognize this. That guy said his name was Clay. So that's Clay's face. He's got a funny headphone on today because of the feedback situation. You know, and it says, oh, that's Clay's finger. And I'm not supposed to blink. So you sit there with your eyes open a little bit longer. Here's the $1 million question. You ready? And Ryan, I'm sorry, I feel kind of weird because I've been practicing this by myself. I'd love it if like, it was way more. You want to participate? Here's the $1 million question. What happened first? You knew what this was, or it hit the oh shit switch? Which one of those things happened first? Ryan?
I feel like I knew what it was first.
No.
No?
Come on. I love it. I love how people do that. Remember, there's this moment in time here, there's before this moment in time, and then there's this moment in time, and then there's the after. Now your brain does this thing with sequencing. We're freezing a moment in time and we're saying right now. So in that moment in time, what happens? Photons, electrical signal, how big is it? How fast is it? Switch. All the other data gets figured out. Then it hits the frontal lobe. Then it says all this stuff and it combines everything around you and it says, oh, that's Clay's finger. Don't blink. So it hits the oh shit switch first. Have you ever, let's go here, Ryan. Have you ever been walking down the street? I got to remember, I got to figure out how to, I'd love to be able to share the screen right now, but Ryan, real quick, walking down the street and a really loud noise happens and you duck.
Yeah.
Right? Like a backfire of a car. Did you know if it was a backfire car, or did you know if it was a gun, or did you know if it was a construction zone or a car crash? You don't know, but your body reacts, right? So before you're aware of what's going on, you're reacting. I mean, we talked about it a few seconds ago, the flinch game. You know that game, right? Like, I'm going to swing at you, but I'm not really going to hit you. But if you flinch, which you can't control, if I throw something big enough, fast enough at you, you're going to flinch. Well, then I get to punch you. For real? That's how we used to do it in grade school where I'm from anyway. All right, so there's that. How about this example? Have you ever been walking along, having a great time? I know this has happened to Ryan because I know where he lives. He lives out in the country. He's got horses. He's got a beautiful farm. He's been walking around and like down a trail next to a creek or something, and all of a sudden you walk into a spider web. You ever done that, Ryan?
Oh yeah, plenty.
Immediately, your body starts to react. You're doing the stupid dance. You're doing the crazy dance, but you don't know what before it registered that it was just a spider web. Now, for most people, after they realize it's a spider web, they keep doing it because they don't like spiders. But there's a moment there where you don't know what's going on and you're reacting. That's the reaction that we want, that I say when I say think, do not react. We do not want to react. Now, Ryan, what we're talking about right here, man, I'm going to direct this kind of at you. What we're talking about is how your brain interacts with all this stuff out here, right? Like we talked about your sense of sight with the finger, your sense of touch with the spider webs, hearing with the loud noise, right? Taste and smell, same thing. There's this drug, there's this compound that they can make taste like chocolate, sour apples, they can make it taste like anything. But when it hits your tongue and you sit there and you put your tongue out, they've done these tests, drip, instantly your body vomits because it's so bad for your body. Your body reacts instantly. And then like after that, well, what was that flavor? Nobody can answer that question because the body reacted before they were able to sense and perceive what it was flavored like. That is what we're talking. That's the outside world. Let's go inside. What's your favorite, Ryan? Like, think back 6 months or a year or whatever, or yesterday. What's your best favorite way to distract yourself or to stop you from moving forward? Like, yeah.
So, well, it's very easy. I've got these websites where I just go waste time on, and that's probably my default. Well, let me go check out, ProFootball.com. It doesn't help me at all, but that's a default kind of habit. If I get bored or there's something that I don't want to do, like I've got to go through this client's website and determine what it is they're really asking me. I had a lot of resistance around that. So rather than do that, I'll sit there and I'll just bounce to a few sports websites, and there's a political website. I'll just kind of read some articles, and that's one way I waste some time.
All right.
It feels comfortable.
Uh-oh, locked up a little bit there. You there still?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You locked up. So the key part there was there's a point where there's a decision made. Ryan knew he needed to go check out his client's websites, for example, but he decided, and he was planning on doing that, but he decided to go over here and do something else instead. That's a decision. Now I can talk about decisions all day long, but the bottom line is every decision that you make has to go through your switch. This is it going to kill me switch. And now I'm sorry, let me back up. Here's the question. Where was that decision? Where was that I don't want to go down this path? Was it out here? Like my finger? Where like Ryan, can you point at where you see where, like if I like that hesitation, where is it at?
It feels internal. It feels in my head.
Where? Like, and this is different for everybody. So like some people do the little good angel, bad angel. Some people point back here. Some people point right at the top of their head. Some people point right behind their nose. The key thing is it's really valuable if you personify it, or if you say it is, yeah, it's like an inch above my nose and 2 inches behind, it's right here. So in your head, here's the key part though, guys. Here's the important part. It's not out here. It's in your head. I just described to you what happens as far as your sight goes. And if you haven't tried virtual reality yet, trust me, it's changing the game on everything. And they're proving how more and more and more about how our brains work and how we are such visual creatures. Like over 70%, some people say up to 90% of our faculties are based on our vision. Well, I don't want to go down that gory path. The bottom line is, I just described how this happens outside you. What we're talking about now is what's going on inside. There's something in here that says, I need to go check out my clients' websites. I need to pick up a phone. I need to go and build a website. I need to go on Facebook and befriend, whatever that task is that you're hesitating to do. That thought that happens in here is in here. Do you think, now here's the weird part of this conversation, because Ryan's talking about what he feels like and what he thinks. If I just prove to you that this happens before you're consciously aware of it, doesn't it make sense that your subconscious in here has a short-circuited wire that just goes back here and can smack on that switch anytime it wants to? It's like it's instantaneous. It's so fast that you cannot be consciously aware of it. You can't. So what happens? What physically happens? Here's how I learned about, here's how I It's not how I learned about it because I knew about it. Here's how this manifested or showed itself in my world. I was making sales calls. I was trying to build a software business, and I was making sales calls to potential clients. And those sales calls followed a general format. And at the end, I knew that I had to say something along the lines of, will you pay me? I have money issues. You might be able to tell that by everything in the way that I'm addressing this with the whole, I don't want you just to go down and buy that button right now unless you're 100% satisfied and 100% sure, blah, 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 right? Anyway, I knew, my subconscious always knew this part of the call was coming. And I thought that I was just screwing this part of the call up. But when I watched myself on recordings, or I listened to myself on recordings, what I realized was there's the part of the call where I'm helping the client and I'm killing it. I'm helping them and helping them and helping them. And at some point it transitions to awesome. Now, if we could convert that, would you be willing to pay for it? Right? If we could do this, could you pay for it? Well, while I was still helping them, before I was ready to talk about this, I started to my voice started to crack. Crazy stuff started to happen. I started to get distracted by things on my desk and my attention would go away. It was insane how I was having problems before I got to the problem part of the call for me. And I never knew that. I was never conscious of that happening at all. I wasn't thinking about the money. I wasn't thinking about that part of the call, right? So here's my point. Your subconscious wants to protect you. If this is you and you're moving along through life, your subconscious doesn't want you to move. It wants to protect you. As soon as your subconscious sees a threat, which is basically anything other than sit right there, it's going to try and stop you. Now, when it tries to stop you, how does it do it? It smacks on that switch. What happens? When that switch gets hit, let's do it right now. I think I did this with you, Ryan, once. Think about the night you met Shannon.
All right.
Get in touch with your body right now. Like, this is completely out of the blue, right? We haven't talked about Shannon. I haven't talked about anything, like nothing about girls, nothing at all. All of a sudden, I'm going to start talking about Shannon a little bit. Think about the first night you met her. Think about what she was wearing. Think about how, where you were at. Were you at the library? Were you at the grocery store? Just put yourself there. Picture her. First things that were said, or maybe you just saw her and then started asking her friends about her. I don't remember the story. I apologize if you've told me and I don't remember it. Here's my question. Do you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel? How did your energy shift a little bit? What did you physically feel? I mean, I think
I just shifted to a state of kind of like it was a blind date. So there was excitement. There was, wow, this is a lot of fun. This feels good because we're hitting it off. And so it was kind of a state of excitement, of a little bit of raised blood, flow.
So I did that really quick with Ryan. The way I normally do it is I normally would spend 5 to 10 minutes and I would drive down and I would ask like where he felt the excitement. Like, what did it feel like in his body? Here's why. Because what happened was he started consciously thinking about something. That's not the subconscious. He started consciously thinking about something. And that caused that switch to hit and say, yes, I would have sex with that. And that caused chemicals to be released. And those chemicals that get released go down into your body and do things. A quick, easy way to imagine this is, imagine a bear bursting into the room right now. A full-grown grizzly that's coming after you. What would happen? You would tense up. Everything in your body would become tense to get ready to fight. Your eyes would dilate. Your breathing would increase. That's the chemicals that we're talking about being released. So let's go back a step. You're getting ready to do something that you don't want to do. your subconscious, or that you do want to do, but that you know will give you a change. It will improve you. Here it comes. The habits that I'm about to share with you, if you implement these habits, they will change you. They will improve your world. No question. Your subconscious doesn't want you to change. So they're not new. The habits, they're not new. They're not freaking earth-shattering, try this new thing. No, I guarantee you've heard them before. But the thing is, you haven't implemented them because your subconscious is stopping you. How is your subconscious stopping you? The way that I'm describing. Your subconscious is hitting your switch, causing chemicals to be released, causing you anxiety, causing you fear, causing you nervousness. That nervousness is sensed, those muscular physical reactions are sensed by your brain. And your brain says, okay, the last time I felt my heart rate do this, my chest muscles do this, my back do that, my neck do this, this bad thing happened. And that causes you to start going down. And as you start going down, your body reacts, and that causes you to think of more bad stuff. And it's this never-ending spiraling cycle that goes down, 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 down. Quick question. Is it easier to catch that as soon as it starts and turn it around, or an hour later and turn it around? Right, Ryan? The quicker you catch it, the better. All right, so let's back up a little bit. I've explained to you how your brain interacts with the outside world. I've explained how your subconscious can hit this switch before you're even aware of what you're thinking about. So your subconscious can hit your switch with anything it wants to and stop you because it creates a feeling. It stops you. Here's the antidote. I'm going to give you the antidote first, and then I'm going to tell you the 3 habits. Here's the antidote. Actually, Ryan, do you know what it is? You know what it is?
Breathe.
Breathe. Deep, calming breaths. Here's why. As soon as the subconscious, when you feel the subconscious start to stop you, those chemicals, the breathing literally releases the opposite chemicals. The way I like to picture it is in this side of my neck, there's a needle and an injector squirting in these chemicals that are causing my anxiety. When I start breathing deep, it's calming my body and literally squirting in the antidote chemicals, the opposite chemicals into my brain. That's happening. So there's the silver bullet. It's weird, Ryan. Normally I do this the other way. Normally I do the habits first, then the silver bullet. That's okay. My boy Ryan here is making everything different. So, and I want to freaking wrap this up quick because Ryan just had a huge success story, and I want him to tell his story along the path that I'm about to share with you guys. The other piece of this is this. When I was talking about the subconscious hitting your switch and you going down this path and this spiral happening, the spiral down. Well, if you can catch it quick, it's really easy to get it back up. On the other hand, if it goes, I mean, Ryan, I've done it for weeks. When I first started on this path, I know that I was in a down, depressed place for at least a week and some days. I mean, this goes on. I know that people have been in this depressed, spiraling down, the world is going to end, the sky is falling thing for years. So the fact that you're here today, props. The fact that you're watching this video right now or here today, props, because that means that you recognize the same thing and you don't want to be one of those people. You want to be one of the people that can catch it quick as they can, turn it around and bring it back up. 3 habits, 3 things that you simply must start doing. Develop a meditation habit now. This is not a maybe tomorrow you can start investigating it and maybe this weekend I'll start a meditation habit. Daily meditation begins today. Start meditating today. There are an infinite number of ways to meditate. So one of the biggest drawback is, well, I tried it once and it didn't work for me. It did work. You just didn't try it long enough. And you might have tried something that wasn't right for you. So there's guided meditations, there's walking meditation, there's true mind meditation, there's sitting there in the lotus posture going om, om. There's so many different types of meditation out there that you just keep looking until you find the one that, okay, I can do this. When I started, I had to have a guided meditation playing, be doing kind of like a stretching and yoga routine, my own little I'm just stretching and trying to meditate and focus on my body when I was stretching. And when I get distract myself, I then go focus on the guided meditation. And then when I distract myself, I focus on my breathing. And then when I distract myself, I focus on the meditation. So you got to have layers of stuff set up when you're starting off. The other two things that you simply must do, you simply must develop a journaling habit. Okay? Period. Do it. There are, again, an infinite number of resources out there to help you do that. Meditate and journal. What are you going to meditate and journal about? They've proven this time. And guys, again, this is coming from my research into the brain. This is coming from hours and hours and dozens and hundreds of hours of research and reading these freaking technical documents, these research papers about all these tests that they've done in the brain and what is physically happening when you meditate. What is physically happening when you journal? What is physically happening inside your brain when all that's going on and what it causes to happen? And this third thing is the single most important thing for you to focus on. Now, if you want to be a warmonger and you want to be a MMA fighter and a badass killer, this might not be the right thing for you to focus on. But if you want to be in the lifestyle that Ryan and I share, where you're building businesses, you're trying to freaking establish freedom, you're trying to grow something, gratitude. Focus on gratitude. Meditate about gratitude, journal about gratitude, focus on gratitude. All right. So what do I share with you guys today? 3 habits you must start now: meditation, journaling, gratitude. The antidote to this, anytime you've got a goal, you're moving toward it, and anytime you stop yourself, that's your subconscious hitting your switch. The magic thing, start doing really deep breaths. Might take 5, might take 10, might take 20. But deep breathing. And that will literally release the antidote chemicals, calm your body down, and that will empower you to be able to think, not react. All right, now here's what I want to invite you guys to do real quick, and then I'm going to ask Ryan a question, then we're going to wrap this thing up. 2 things: belief circles and targets. What I just exposed to you was the magic. You have to do those things, and you have to learn to think, not react. The next thing that's going to hit you in the face and stop you is goal setting. You have to learn how to set your goals appropriately. Belief circles and targets. That's the next step. Right now, I think the price is $75. It might have gone up. It might be lower. I can't recall off the top of my head right now. The link is below down there. I'm not too worried about that. Here's the thing. If there is any question on whether you should or should not purchase that, though, sign up for a one-on-one with me. Okay? Apply. I'm not promising that I will actually do a one-on-one with you, because if you're not in the right place, I'm sorry. My time has gotten to the point now where I have to be picky and choosy about who I help. In the near future, I'm looking forward to being able to do scholarship work. I'm really looking forward to that, but right now I'm not there yet. So let's talk about, you can still apply. Once you apply, if I reach within a week, maybe 2 weeks, I'll reach out to you and we'll schedule something and we'll sit down and we'll talk about whether this is or is not right for you. All right. For now, here's my question. I want to talk to Ryan. I want to hear about Ryan. I want to hear what he did, how this understanding has changed your life. That's my question, Ryan. How has you understanding what I just shared with all these people, and yeah, how's it changed your life? How have you applied it before and after? What's different, man?
For me, in all the scenarios you laid out, like the finger approaching, the time wasting stuff, I'm anticipating discomfort. And when I anticipate discomfort, I want to flee from it. So instead of doing a task that I know I need to do, I'll go to those time wasting websites and all that kind of stuff. And so meditation, it's given me that present state awareness. And it was a good year where I was doing it off and on and struggling with it before it finally clicked, that when I breathe in and I'm focusing on my breath, I can become really present. And being really present, there's so much joy in it. It feels amazing. And that was something that I'd struggled with for a lot of years, was being present with my wife. I get home from work, and it's hard for me. I've got all these other side projects going. It's hard for me to focus on her and be there and listen to what she's talking to me about prior to meditation and prior to getting consistent with it. And that really, that light switch where, wow, meditation for me was the path to presence. And that has really helped my relationship with my wife a ton, and a lot of other things. So that's the biggest takeaway for me, the most tangible thing for me and what it's done for me, those habits.
Awesome. I love how it's like the wife and the family, and it's something. Ryan's,
I would say, yes, Ryan, I'll try and work on my presence. I'll try and be more present. But I didn't know how to do it. I would say that all the time, but I didn't know how. I just thought I was just going to have to focus harder when I was talking to her or something, but that never worked. Then she would always be like, "You're not here, are you?" I said, "Oops, oh, sorry." So yeah, I didn't really know how to. I just thought it was kind of, yeah, working harder at focus or something, and that never worked for me. And yeah.
I love it. Okay, so you're easily distracted. So the cool thing is, most of the people watching right now, and I know that like everybody that has asked questions, I feel like I've answered your questions. I feel like everything has been answered. I've got no new questions. If you guys have a question, now's the time to do it. We're going to close this up in about 5 minutes, okay? So if you've got a question, throw it out there right now. But Ryan, most of the people that we're talking to today are stressing their business. There are those guys just starting out that are struggling. I know what I should be doing, but right. So I'm freaking thrilled for Shannon that you've and I've seen the vacation pictures, and I've read a few things, and I can only imagine the other things that goes on behind the scenes. You know, how good things are for you guys now that you're in this practice. How about from a business perspective though? What has it enabled you to do? What has it enabled? Yeah. What has it enabled you to do, and how has it enabled you to do it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. It enabled me to just keep trying. Because for me, self-publishing, I started off, it was a struggle for a long time. Anytime you're trying to learn something new, it's tough. You're not going to get really good at it for a while. And I had some moderate success, what kept me trying. But it was finally when I really bought in, for me, connecting with other people and opening up to masterminds and reaching out for help, that, okay, there are some things different for me to try. And all of a sudden momentum started happening. Because for me, I tend to just stay small and try to do everything myself rather than bounce things off of other people. And so for me, a lot of it was establishing an abundance mindset versus one of scarcity. So I was no longer afraid to talk about my ideas, talk about my goals. And then I met people that could help me with my goals through talking about them. And so then I started to learn through them, and I met others that could help me, and it just started to pick up steam. And I had a $40,000 December which that month alone nearly wiped out all of my debt that I was carrying. And that just changed everything for me. And it was a lot of struggle and hitting my head against the board up until then. But just kind of, and so, you know, I think a lot of people face overwhelm. And so,
let me go back to it. Let me go back and ask this question. Yeah. See, guys, this is the interesting part. How Ryan described something that stopped him, or the thing that propelled him, was when he got out of his way and started connecting with others. Those are the words that kind of came out of his mouth. Maybe not propelled. I think you did say it, but that's the thing that made a difference. So that's not new news. That wasn't something Ryan read in a blog post and said, "Oh, wow, that's cool. I think I'll go try that." There was a significant change and shift in Ryan from, I am going to be, what was it? Small, tight, and closed off. You're going to keep your secret. You're going to do it all yourself. That mentality shift from that to, I'm going to find help. That pivot, that shift is what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about. That for some reason, Ryan was afraid to do that. Ryan was literally what his subconscious was using to stop him. And by meditating and developing the practice and the habit of, okay, subconscious, it's okay. Let me just move you down here out of the way, and then I can keep going. And that particular, in that example, that task was reaching out and getting help from other people.
And in order to do that, I had to overcome those thoughts. Well, they're going to think I'm an idiot, or I'm not smart enough to be friends with these guys, or they're just going to steal my ideas. I had to overcome all that kind of internal talk and just be like, you know what? I belong, with successful people. I can do that stuff. And so, yeah.
All right. I'm going to wrap this up real quick, but that was gold what Ryan just shared. The internal things that were stopping him. He said 3 things. They're going to steal my ideas. I don't belong. I'm not good enough to hang out with them. What was the other one?
There were 2 things. I didn't feel like I was smart enough to be an entrepreneur, and I didn't feel like I had the courage to do it. I felt like there were some 2 things I didn't have. There was some,
you rattled off some specific thoughts when you first just talked about that. And I can go back and look at the recording later, but
you're going to think I'm an idiot.
Thoughts. Right? Those thoughts, where are those at? They're in here. And before they are actually here and you're aware of it, that thought has already hit your switch and has already caused chemicals to go down here and start your anxiety, start your fear, start you down that path. Before you're even aware of it, you will never ever be so smart that you can outrun your subconscious. It's what you do after it does what it does, when it hits that switch, when it pops up and it stops you. That what you do next is the part, and your awareness of when it happens, and what you do after that are everything. That's the secret, and that's what enabled Ryan to okay, I'm afraid. I don't know. You want to maybe tell us about the first time you reached out to somebody? I mean, are we talking about the mastermind that you're in? Are we talking about, I don't know.
No, I think it was a friend of mine dragged me to a live event. And then there was one that you dragged me to. And
it was okay. So it wasn't that one. Okay. I thought you were talking about that one. All right.
I think there was a buddy of mine before that one that convinced me to join just like a freaking Facebook group. Like that I was scared of. Which seems now so silly, but that to me was equaled. I anticipated discomfort. I anticipated all those negative things. So it was much easier to flee from that.
Wow.
And then you dragged me to a live event. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I want to share you who we're talking to. Let's not forget who we're talking to. Ryan, how many years have you been a professional salesman?
Yes, 16.
So for 16 years, he's been walking into businesses and to other places and literally been putting himself out there trying to get them to buy stuff for 16
For me,
years.
I thought, well, I wouldn't take rejection personally there because I'm working for a company. But then entrepreneurship, well, it's me. I'm not, it's not a company I'm working for, it's me. So if I get rejected, they're rejecting me, not the company I work for. So it felt more personal, it felt scarier, which, yeah, is crazy considering what I do for a living.
It completely blew me away. Like it completely blows me away, but it's real. It's true. And you're all going to face it, and we're all going to have to overcome this subconscious. All right. We're going to wrap this up. Actually, Ryan, let's keep going. What was the practice? What was the thing? And actually, I got to run too because I've got a freaking meeting coming up in a few minutes. What was the thing? Like somebody literally forced you to do it. And then what? Did the pain go away, or were you still nervous? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I was still nervous, but I had momentum at that point. I had forward momentum, and so it was easier to keep that momentum going. And so you just need that push initially. And that's why I think so often we need somebody else to believe in us before we believe in ourselves. So I just needed that little bit of momentum.
So I'm going to fast forward now, and I'm going to expose something, and let's see, and it doesn't matter. I'm going to expose something, Ryan, that you share with me that happened in the last 48 hours. Ryan and I have been working, and we've been working on some stuff with him where I'm just going to say it's just like what he just described. Like the fact that his subconscious was stopping him with the Facebook group or with reaching out to people. Well, he's leveled up and he's progressed. And I keep saying it. Your subconscious is going to keep growing with you and keep trying to stop you. Well, now he's way up here, and the same thing is happening with a different flavor. And just yesterday, we spent an hour together and proposed. We talked through a couple things that changed his perspective a little bit, maybe. And then boom. So Ryan, I don't know. Do you want to give, I don't want to give details away that and I wouldn't name any names or anything like that, but.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, yesterday you were telling me to think bigger, and you've been working with me on that 10 times my goal, but I just couldn't quite see how I could connect those dots. But all of a sudden today, in fact,
well, what was my message? What was the message? At the time that we were talking, what was the message? The message is don't worry about how to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't worry about the problems you anticipate down the road because you're not there yet. And so that helped take some of the pressure off. Because I was, because that stuff seems scary, but I'm nowhere near that. So why worry about it? So 10 minutes before this call, I got off a call. And now I think I'm going to be in a rev share with a company that has nearly 3 million Facebook fans and can get our book into Target and Kohl's. And I'm going to be producing their books for them out of nowhere, and I'm a self-publisher. I'm just a guy who reached out to them, and they liked the idea. And they said the timing was weird because it's what they were looking for. And I happened to shoot them an email about it and I had to tell myself, well, they could do this without cutting me in, but oh well, whatever. I'll just reach out to them and see, what the heck. And all of a sudden, it looks like I'm going to be in a partnership with this big brand, and I'm going to be on a rocket ship. So it's crazy.
Let's talk potential, real potential numbers. And I don't want to use the actual number, but Ryan shared with me a few months ago what his goal was, what a financial goal was in a few months. And we started pushing, and we started talking 10x, man, 10x it, 10x it, 10x it, 10x it. And literally, if I'm not mistaken, let's be real. The month of December is very valuable for retail. And Ryan that's his big month, right? Christmas season, people buying things. And so he set a goal, and he's doing all this work and all this effort to do all this magic stuff to set him up to have a huge December. And so I'm like, well, what can you do to 10x what you think you can get in December? And then literally, if I'm not mistaken, we just 12x that at least. Like there's potential for that number to be made every month because of the size.
Yeah. And I didn't see how that would happen. It felt maybe not impossible, but it felt far-fetched. I didn't see a route to that. And then all of a sudden this just fell in my lap. And it's just like, wow, okay, that's possible. But it's interesting how oftentimes you're just working in constant uncertainty. You don't know how you're going to do something, and then boom, your action is rewarded. There's a great saying, the universe rewards the deed, not the doer. So it doesn't matter who you are, you just have to take action and do things. And oftentimes something out of left field will come because of a risk you took or someone you reached out to, and all of a sudden smiles. Yeah.
All right, guys, we went about 10 minutes long there, but bottom line, self-awareness is key. Self-awareness so that you can stop the downward spiral, so that you can catch it and bring it back up and keep going on your path. Self-awareness so that you can feel when the subconscious stops you, so that you can take your deep breaths and move it out of the way and keep going. Meditation, journaling, gratitude, deep breaths. That's the freaking magic that I've got for you guys today. All right. I'm going to stop the broadcast. I'm going to end it with you guys. Ryan, thank you for jumping on and joining me. And I can't wait to go tell Tara, but yeah, I keep having fun, man.
Back at you, man. Thanks for all you've done for me, dude.
Life is good. Oh, you know what? Yeah. If you had, here you go. You got 30 seconds. What do you want to tell anybody watching this right now, as far as if they're sitting on the bubble for not just me, but hiring a coach or hiring, or taking a step in that direction?
I think of the time where I was really down. I felt like I was getting nowhere, and you told me that I was killing it. And I thought, am I killing it? I didn't feel that way at all. Well, maybe I am. I guess I am. I guess I'm doing all right. And so you believed in me when I didn't. And then that next morning, I was able to get the CEO of a $500 million company to return my email. And I ended up getting the chance to present it to those guys, a deal. It didn't end up happening, but that's how quickly everything can change. And it's hard to see that when you're struggling. But man, just having you tell me that I was killing it, dude, you're doing great, keep at it. That gave me the confidence to keep going. And all of a sudden, within 12 hours, suddenly there's this enormous opportunity. So yeah, you know what to keep going sometimes, and that's invaluable. And that's, yeah.
You know what I'm taking away from this? I'm going to start charging people just to hang out with them. Because like within 12 to 24 hours after hanging out with me, magic happens.
Yeah, it was that quick that time. And yeah, this time too.
And this time too.
Really funny.
I love it. All right, brother. All right, guys. I hope you guys have fun. Going to end this broadcast. Have a freaking great day. And if you have questions, you can send me an email and I'll connect you with Ryan or whoever you need to be connected with. We'll talk. I hope you guys have a good day.